Good evening. Welcome to this live edition of Turnaround Marriage. We're here tonight to talk about a really important subject. And let me just first of all just share who I think that this is for. This is for those of you that may be out there tonight that are wondering, is there hope for my marriage? Wondering, could things be any different than what they've been, even if you've been married for a long time? Really wondering, could there be a fix? Is it possible that things could be improved in our marriage, even if we've been in these ruts for a really, really long time? If that's you in any way, even if you're thinking, I just want to level up in our marriage, we've been stuck in these ruts for a long time, this is exactly for you.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about the one thing that prevents couples from really fixing their marriage. But before we get into that, we just want to introduce ourselves. We are Scott and Rachel. We help committed Christian couples finally end the cycles of conflict, negativity, and disconnection and reclaim the love, passion, and playfulness that they once had. And we were once stuck in a very hopeless marriage ourselves.
We were.
With each other. We were not married to other people. And we have found the way out, and it is our joy and honor to walk with many couples that same journey out of the ruts and back to falling back in love again.
Absolutely. So wherever you're joining us tonight, and maybe you're even catching this recording later, we just want to let you know that there are numerous ways that you can connect with us and make sure that you're receiving these videos as soon as they're coming out. And one of the best ways that you can be informed of what we're doing is make sure that you check us out on YouTube, and you can just subscribe there. Make sure you see those videos that are coming through. And as well on Facebook, of course, we have our main business page. If you search Turnaround Marriage, you're going to find Turnaround Marriage Coaching, which is our business page. And you're also going to find Turnaround Marriage, which is a group. And there's about 1,600 people in there. It's a community that we've been building, a place of encouragement. So make sure that you're at least connecting with those three places that you can find us on the internet, certainly turnaroundmarriage.com. But guys, what we want to do is share with you from our heart, from our perspective, one of the big reasons that people wind up not fixing their marriages. And whether that means they've been stuck for a long time and they've given up hope that things could be any different, or it means that they're just believing that it's coming to an end and that there's no other way to prevent things from ending, whether that means divorce, separation, whatever it would be. And really, one of the main reasons is rather pretty simple. Mm-hmm. It's simple to say, but when we explain it, you'll understand why people get stuck there. So, Rach, why don't you just kind of lay out for us one of the main reasons we see that people don't fix their marriages?
Yeah, it's so simple, you guys. We have found over and over again, the reason that they don't is they believe that they can't. It's literally what's happening between their ears. They have this belief that it's been too long. It's been this way. It's been too hard. There's been too many hurts. There's been too many mistrusts. It's going to take too long. It's not worth it. They just literally believe that it's impossible.
Right.
And we're here to tell you that if you think that it's impossible, you have already failed before you've even tried. In fact, you can't even, it's like you can't even try to win because you haven't even started.
It's true.
Your mind will tell you, don't even go for it because it's impossible. And so this belief that people have, and I know that belief because we had it.
We certainly did.
We stayed there for a while. It's like, well, I guess this is how it's going to be. I guess we just have to keep on arguing and stonewalling and having these walls of discontentment and frustration between us. And
we're being punished, whatever.
Yeah. And I'm telling you right there, it's so simple. It's like, if you believe that it can't be fixed, or you believe that it's going to take too long, or you believe that it's going to be too hard or too painful or too fill in the blank, you will not even try. And we have seen it over and over again. Couples we've talked to on the phone, we know we can help them. We offer that hand of help. And then at the end of the day, they're just like, you know what? And they'll make an excuse or whatever reason they can do to get off the phone. Cause they're just like, I think in their heart of hearts, they just feel like they can't. And it's like, if you had someone to believe in you, if you had someone to show you the way, what would be possible? Right?
It's true.
I mean, you want me to go with an example?
Yeah, we could. I just want to say that, just to add to it, and then I want you to give that example. Yeah. It is really heartbreaking for me. It really is, because there are cases where the marriage is absolutely salvageable. absolutely could be different with our help or with somebody else's help. I mean, there's no question that things could be different. But it's heartbreaking for me when I'm offering my hand and people are stuck in their beliefs so much that it's been this way for 20 years. It's been this way for 30 years, that things couldn't be any different. And they can't believe, like they've given up hope. They've given up a belief that God is actually there, that God is on their side, that God has in his heart for your marriage to be radically different, for your marriage to be in line with what he designed it to be. And that's really ultimately really, really sad. When you see that it's possible, that things could be different, and they refuse to see it because they've believed for so long that it couldn't be any different, that is the storyline they've locked into, and they're not going to let go of it.
Yeah. I mean, we can take an example. There's so many examples with other areas of their life. Don Johnson says, I want my wife back, but she divorced me. I'm so sorry, Don.
Yeah.
We see this often. So often people wait too long to get help. And so our heart goes out to you. We will say a prayer for you, Don. And we want to implore you guys, if there is still hope, if there's still time,
Yeah.
and time might not be on your side. That's why you need to act now. Like the first step is just believing that it's possible. I remember when I was 29 years old, I was relatively, I wasn't athletic or anything, but I was thin and I was, whatever. I had a coworker said to me, "You have a runner's body. You could be a runner." I was like, "I can't even run around the block." You know what I mean? And she said, "No, you're built for it. You could do it." And I was like, I literally knew that when I ran to the mailbox and back, I was out of breath and I couldn't do it. And she said, I can help you. I can see it in you. You can do it. And there's a half marathon coming in 4 months, and we could train and we could sign up for it. And I was like, a half marathon? Are you out of your mind? I couldn't even imagine doing a 5K. She said, "Let's do it. I can help you. I'll train with you. I'll show you how to do it." I was like,
Yep.
Are you nuts? So there's 2 of us that signed up. We're like, okay, just tell us what to do. We showed up coachable. I'm telling you, in 4 months, she got us running a half marathon without stopping. And if she had not told me that it was possible, I would have never put on my running shoes.
Absolutely.
I would have never tried. And the feeling of crossing that tape and seeing the time, and it was like we were able to run 10-minute miles and from literally couch to half marathon in 4 months in the freezing rain in St. Louis in April.
Right.
Back how many years ago that was. It was one of the most glorious things. And it was like my mind opened up to the possibilities that so many things are possible. But they're not until you believe that they are, until you've seen somebody who's done it and can show you the way, right?
Absolutely.
I'm thinking of another story about another running story. Now, I'm not really a runner now, but this story fascinates me. The story of Roger Bannister, because for millennia, people thought, it's impossible physiologically for the human body to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Runners were amazing. They could do it in 6 minutes. They could do it in 5 minutes. They could do it in 4.5 minutes. They got it down, but they said, it's impossible. No one has ever done it. The human body is physiologically impossibly able to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. Your legs just can't move that fast for that long and stuff. And so, but Roger Bannister was like, you know what? It is possible. And for months he trained. Not only did he train his physical body, but he trained his mind. And every day in his mind, he would run the tape of him running that marathon at such an electric speed. He visualized himself ripping that tape with a timer, seeing the timer at 3 minutes, 59 seconds. He visualized it. He rehearsed it over and over again in his mind. And guess what? In 1954, he was the first man to ever do it. Yeah. And when he did it, it was like all of a sudden, the runners of the world, their minds were blown. They're like, it's possible? Well, if he can do it, then I can too. And so that same year, 37 other people broke the 4-minute mile. It's so impossible. And what I love is the very next year, over 300 people broke the 4-minute mile. And now marathon runners do it all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just this idea that if you believe that it's possible, anything can happen. But if your thinking is it's impossible, we can't fix it, it's too hard, it's been too long, guess what? This is why this will hold you back in fixing your marriage.
It's true. And Rachel, just to stack on that, you're absolutely right. Beliefs that we hold to have the power to build, power to create, or they even have the power to destroy. Like beliefs have significant power. And every single time that we're talking with somebody, There is always clearly a storyline, beliefs that they're holding to. And I've seen it so many times. When you help people to see to believe again, just like that person saw in you, they didn't see it in me that I was a marathon runner. No, for sure. But for you, they saw it in the way that you were built. And so I think that's really, really powerful to think about, where, when people are stuck, they have beliefs. It's been this way a long time.
Mm-hmm.
God is punishing me, punishing us. Like everybody else has good marriages, which isn't true, but that's what you tend to believe when yours is really struggling.
Mm-hmm.
You believe too much has happened. Like there's too much water under the bridge, too many hurts that have happened. We can't get through this. If you believe that it's going to take too long to undo the hurts, to undo the dysfunction, whatever it would be, if you think it's going to be too hard or maybe even too painful, you're not going to want to go down that path. You're going to hold to those beliefs that you've been hanging on to. Mm-hmm. So if you're hanging on to these things, believing these beliefs are actively right now destroying your marriage. Mm-hmm. And if you believe ultimately, guys, that your feelings can't change, maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're angry, maybe you're lonely. Maybe it's also what would be another good example of,
maybe you feel like you've fallen out of love.
Yeah, like love isn't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like what if you're just so angry that or you're so hurt that how could I ever get past this? And people's feelings, even their beliefs about their feelings not even being able to change, is where a lot of people get stuck. A lot of people, a lot of couples. And so, guys, what if you had somebody that could believe in you? What if you had somebody that could see in you or your marriage that things could be different, to show you how? Because oftentimes that's exactly what it takes. Mm-hmm. It really takes outside people saying, look what is possible. And, the really cool thing that I would say is that when I reach out my hand to couples and I say to them, and this isn't always the case, but when it is, and I say, I can help you. And they grab my hand and we get started, we get working, we start fixing things quickly. One of the first things they say is thank you. Mm-hmm. Why would they say thank you? I think the main reason, without a doubt, is I'm saying I believe in you guys. And more than that, I believe in God who is in you guys. I believe in God who designed marriage for you to be a place of blessing and belonging and of healing and of forgiveness and of selflessness. And when you can help them see and paint a picture of what things could be, what else could you say? But thank you.
Mm-hmm. Because what we see, y'all, is when things have been bad for any length of time, and especially the longer, the worse it is, we tend to beat ourselves up for how it is, for how we've been showing up, for the words we've said, the things we've done, and then it becomes this guilt and shame and all of these other feelings that are stacked on top of the frustration. Yep. And the loneliness and the contempt. And so then it's like, then you really get stuck and you're like, oh, I feel guilty. And, our brains are designed to sort of keep us out of pain, out of pleasure. I mean, right. That's how God designed us. And so sometimes it's like, if we feel like the most painful thing to do is to fix the marriage, we're going to avoid it. If we think, oh, that's going to hurt, that's going to be painful. Right. But what if it didn't have to be so painful? What if it didn't have to be so hard? What if it was actually very simple? Learning how to believe that you could show up as your best self with the help of the Holy Spirit, right? With the God of the universe who loves you so much and who has made you into an incredible person, but maybe that person hasn't been showing up in the marriage. What if we could hold your hand and help you remember who you truly are?
Yeah, it's true. And one person, we can't see who the name was, but one person said, or someone might think, but my circumstances are different. You don't understand. You don't understand what we're going through. And we see that type of comment all the time, especially we do some advertising. And one of the things we say, but what if it's this? What if it's that? What if this happened? What if that happened? And ultimately the heart of it is, I don't believe this could change, that this could be fixed, that this could be healed. And that's why they're asking the question, but what if it's this? What if it's that? What if this happened? What if you don't understand? Or what if I really explained it to you? You might believe like me that it's bad enough that things couldn't be healed. Well, guys, Yeah, it's true. It's true that a lot of things might have happened. No doubt. There could be a lot of hurts. But what if things didn't have to stay the way that they've been? What if there was a completely different way of doing marriage? Not that you throw away the marriage. You don't. You don't throw away the memories and the good things, but you can throw away the empty your cup of the things that are not working and wash it out and fill it up with what works. Because when you have that, everything can be radically, radically different when you have a new way of going about things. And we see it every day. You know,
yeah, and that's one of the biggest things we work on with our clients is that what are their thoughts and beliefs about marriage? About, is God punishing me? Is this how it should be? You know, and is this too hard? And like, because we have to rip out these beliefs that are holding us back. Rip out the beliefs that say, you know, marriage is supposed to be punishment, or, you know, my spouse is just so selfish. And it's like, if we could stop taking the speck and look at our own plank and start dealing with us, right? We can start here.
Yeah.
There's so much that can change. The same thing with our feelings. We talked about our feelings, like, my feelings have changed. I'm not in love with him anymore. Like, what if we didn't have to be led by our feelings? What
That's
if
true.
we could learn how to harness the power of our feelings and regulate them and become fit emotionally? Like, what if there were a skill set and a toolbox that if you had access to and you had somebody who could show you the way, what if things could be totally different?
It's totally true. And I'm thinking about a great example that comes to mind with one of our awesome superheroes right now that's working with us, Paul. And he was sharing the story. They're getting an incredible outcome in their marriage. And he was sharing the story that he was riding in the car with his adult son in the back seat, and in the front seat with him is one of his buddies that's getting divorced. And his buddy was, you know, kind of talking about his circumstances, and Paul just made the assertion, I love my wife, and we're in love, we're growing closer, and we're really excited about the future. And
he said, she's the woman
of my dreams. That's right. One of my dreams. And so he was so baffled by that. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you've been married for a long time. That shouldn't be the case. Like, that man's belief, no wonder that his marriage was ending up in divorce, when his beliefs were that marriage is going to be, you know, she's going to be a ball and chain on you, you know, that it's going to be misery. And what a great testimony for his son in the back seat to be hearing him speak this about his wife. That was so powerful. But it just goes to show you guys, what are your beliefs? Where are you believing you know, that things can be, and in your beliefs are holding you back, or they're creating a future. And my friends, if you are a Christian, if you follow the Lord Jesus Christ, where is he leading you? What does he say? What does he say of you? What does he say of your wife? What does he say about your marriage and your circumstance? He is the God of the impossible. What is impossible in your own strength is possible with God. He says it. So with God, it doesn't matter what our beliefs are about our circumstances. If our belief is in alignment with what his word says and how God describes himself, he is the God of the impossible. He is the God who is able to do more than we could ask, more than we could imagine. And what if we aligned our beliefs with God's beliefs? Everything, hear me, everything will change. It will. Absolutely.
Amen. Amen. And just a quick word for those of you who maybe have already gone through a divorce, or you've done what you could to try, and it's like you gave it your best effort, and still somehow, you know, you just don't understand why things ended up this way. Like, you really also need to pay attention to what's going on between your ears. What are you telling yourself that this means? Right. Because our God is a redeeming God. He won't even waste the pain of your divorce. He won't even waste the pain of heartache and heartbreak. And somehow in his miraculous ways, he can use that as a testimony of his grace in your life for whatever's next for you. So you don't want to just beat you up if you've come to that place, but if you're still hanging on, even if you're hanging on by a thread, we want to tell you time is ticking. Why not reach out for help? And we see what Tony put over here, that he's been separated for almost 6 years. The divorce is pending, and he loves her so much. And Tony, our heart goes out to you. And I would just encourage you, do what you can. Do what you can to save your marriage. When you find someone who has crawled out of the pit and says, I believe in you, let's crawl out together. Like, I'll show you the way. Anything is possible.
We have a number of people that are working on their marriage with us right now. alone. Actually, there's a few that started off alone and their spouses saw them believing again. They saw their spouses believing again that things could be radically different. They started showing up radically different, such that their spouses began to believe it could be possible for them. And in a couple of cases that there's really, things are changing. In the other cases, it's part of the process. God is working, but there is power in believing what God says of you. There's no doubt about it. So guys, what we want to encourage you to do is check out our masterclass. You can just go to turnaroundmarriage.com/class. And there's just about a 45-minute masterclass that will help to communicate a lot of the heart of what we've been talking about tonight, and helping you to think about how could our beliefs and the way that we look at this be a little different, such that it will make for all the difference. Because that's ultimately what we're talking about, is some small adjustments, believing again, and recognizing that things with some help, and even that master class, could bring some significant points into your life and marriage where you realize, wow, if we started doing things with these adjustments, things could be radically different. We see it every day, guys, every day. So if that's you, we want to encourage you to check that out at turnaroundmarriage.com/class.
Yeah, it's the 5 simple shifts Christian couples can make to get a quick turnaround in their marriage and to fall back completely in love again. And I'm telling you, when you can learn to tune your heart to a different frequency, getting out of the frustration, getting back to love and gratitude, when you can learn to see yourself the way God sees you, when you can learn to believe that his word is good and it's for you, and marriage is good and it's for you. And even in the challenge of your marriage, that there is something good that God can bring out of even the pain. Like every time life comes out of pain and death, right? When you plant a seed or when a baby's born, and so maybe in this season, something wonderful is going to come out of even the season of pain. So our heart for you is to get hope and help for your Christian marriage.
Absolutely.
So until next time, we'll see you then.
Have a great night.